Haunted Michigan. Terrifying tales.
Hey guys, welcome to another installment of Haunted Michigan. I'm your host, Meltdown. And today we got the guys from Haunt Investigators of Michigan. We got Ed Ketchadorian and Marc Ortiz. Welcome to the studio, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so 2012 is when you guys started out. So Marc, why don't you just tell us, you guys have known each other for years, right? Since grade school.
Yeah. We grew up in the same neighborhood. I've known Ed probably since maybe the 5th grade. Growing up, I've had my personal experience, paranormal experiences, and so did Ed. And somehow we just managed to hook up and share the same stories, and then decided, hey, let's kind of, follow the paranormal field and see what's out there.
So, Ed, I know Marc was telling us before we started, and he just mentioned that he had paranormal experiences as a kid. Did you as well?
Oh, yes, I definitely did. At my house growing up, there was some activity.
So you were in what part of the Detroit area?
I was in actually the south end of Dearborn, real close to the Ford Rouge plant.
Okay, and where'd you grow up, Marc?
Dearborn. Born in Detroit, raised in Dearborn. Spent some time in Texas, then came back.
I got you. So did you have experiences as well growing up?
Yeah.
At your house or just?
Yeah, at my house. A large family. I got 8 brothers, 4 sisters. The house, the upper part of the house, I had some experiences, but the family that lived in the lower part never did. So half the family thought I was crazy. The other half, believed it. So yeah.
Wait a second. You had 68 people in your family, and you had another family living below you. Is that how this works?
Yeah, well, it's 6 bedrooms, and it's trying to fit 13 people in the house. It's pretty tight.
Now, when you guys are having these experiences as a kid, then your parents sell the house. Do they have to tell the people? I don't know how this works.
No, I think in some states you have to disclose. Yeah, this place is haunted. In some states you don't have to. So.
And so then you guys form Haunt Investigators of Michigan in 2012. Was it always just you two, or is there other people as well?
Actually, the other co-founder, Mark Wainick, we both went to Salem and decided we were going to visit the town. And then we started going into the Hawthorne Hotel, which is supposed to be real haunted, and started doing little things like, we're just learning how to investigate. And then when we came back to Michigan, we decided, hey, let's do something with this. Let's run with it.
Yeah, and were you with them at the time, Ed, in Salem?
Oh, yeah. And, we also have some female members of our group and stuff, because you really need a balanced approach when it comes to doing paranormal investigations.
Yeah, I'm off next week, and I'm kind of contemplating heading out to Salem. I've always wanted to go out there, especially this time of year. I heard it's kind of crazy. I do want to go out there one day. I actually had my wife look up staying in the Lizzie Borden house.
That's closer to, what town is that? I know where it's at.
Yeah, if you said the name, I would know it as well. But that's over in that area as well. So you guys start up in 2012. And what's the place that you guys have investigated the most?
The Whitney, down in Detroit. We spent almost 10 years there. One day we went to the bar, the Ghost Bar at the time, and met up with Tony Muzzy, the general manager of the Whitney, and we told him that we were paranormal investigators, and a light bulb went in his head and said, hey, Halloween is coming up. We're going to do a Halloween party. We want to do something along this line. We said, yeah, we could think of something. I said, well, we need to get in here and we need to investigate because we need some material to present. Mm-hmm. And he said, yeah, not a problem. So we got there about 11, stayed maybe till 4 in the morning. So it's kind of cool when he's handing you the keys to the Whitney, if you've ever been there. And then throughout the years, we've been investigating, just gathering more information. And so every year, we've been presenting new evidence, if you want to call it.
So were you guys the first ones to investigate, or?
No. I think there was a couple other groups that came in and investigated, though.
Why do you think the Whitney attracts so many investigators, Ed?
Because there's just so much activity there. The place from 1923 to 1979 was a hospice.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of, most of the activity is really not the Whitney family. Mm-hmm. It is... the
people that have been there during hospice.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you. So, Marc, what kind of things have you experienced at the Whitney?
We've been there for so many years. There's just so much that happened, and I'm trying to pick out the best one, the most creepiest thing that actually had my hair is rising up my arm.
Oh, I know the best one.
Yeah, there's a couple, but the one that comes to mind was this was during a paranormal dinner. Guests, about 12, 13 guests at dinner, 5-course meal, and then we would do our presentation, and then we would take them up into the carriage house. So as we're coming to the carriage house, I was asking there was one particular person. I said, "Why don't you come with me upstairs? I need for you to stand by this door, and it's black up there, so you can't see anything because these dinners are late." And we get to the middle of the floor, and to my left there's a doorway, and it's leading to Grace's table. Grace is the oldest daughter of David Whitney, and there's a tea table set for her because she liked to have tea back in the day. As I look to my left, there's this dark shadow mass standing in the doorway. And inside that room, there's a window and there's a lamp outside. There's a light post. And there's normally light coming through. I could not see that light as it came through. So I look over to my left and I see this black mass, and I whispered to the gal next to me. I said, "Do you feel that?" And she didn't say anything. And I said, okay, everybody come on up. So everybody comes up. We step into that room. And as we're gathered around her table, I say out loud, I said, "Okay, everybody remain silent. Don't talk, don't whisper, because whispering can come across as a spirit talking." Great group. I say, "Is there anybody here with us today?" And at that moment, we hear, "Yes," come out of the air. People heard it to the left, people heard it to the right, and I'm like, wow, did that actually just happen? And we have this on video. It's on our Facebook page, so anybody who's interested in seeing this, you can go to our Facebook and watch this video. It's really impressive because the reaction from the people that were standing there, it just caught them. It caught myself off guard, but I was trying to look professional and not scared. But we caught that, and that freaked me out the most because did not expect it.
So what happens after this yes? Do you respond with another question?
Well, everybody's going, "Oh my gosh, I heard it to my left, I heard it to my right." And at that same time, which was weird because there's a piece of device we have, it's called the X-Cam. And Ed's holding this X-Cam, and he's pointing it in the direction of the table. And at the exact same moment that we hear yes out loud, he gets a figure on X-Cam that pops up. It's kind of like it was an amazing catch for us to catch that.
Yeah. And how long ago was this?
Oh my gosh,
it was a while ago.
That was probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay, before like pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
And by the way, everything before the pandemic is, I started my radio career pre-pandemic. It's just going to be that way for the rest of the time. That's why I look at it. But so 4 or 5 years ago. And then that was, do you think that was your biggest catch you've gotten at the Whitney?
No.
Ed, what do you got?
No. Actually, my favorite is when I took my sister and one of our female investigators to dinner at the Whitney. So no group, no nothing. And we had a nice dinner at the Whitney. Great place to have
and
dinner. And
this is as you've already been like investigating.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You're familiar with the place.
Oh, yeah. We're very familiar with the place. Been investigating for years there.
Okay.
And I asked the manager, Tony, I go, "Tony, hey, can I have the keys for the carriage house? I want to show my sister. She's out here from Oregon." And I had brought my SLS X-Cam with us. And so we went up into the carriage house, and we're sitting at Grace's table. So our female investigator, Cuddle and Rye, she's sitting at Grace's table, and me and my sister were looking at her with the SLS X-Cam. And there's this small little figure that appears on the table in front of her. And I'm telling Cuddlin what I'm seeing. And she sees this small little figure, and she puts her hand out, and the figure sits in her hand. And then, and I'm telling her exactly what's going on. Then she puts out her other hand, and the figure's laying in her hand like a baby. And so we're interacting with this stick figure. We're asking it to raise its hand and raise its leg and do this and do that. And so this session lasted for about 5 minutes, which is really long in the paranormal world to have something interact with you for that long. And so we're getting near the end of things, and Cuddle and ask, "Next time I come, do you want me to bring you a book and read you a story?" And Class A EVP. Yeah. And it was just freaky. So next time we did bring a book. And she started reading the story. And a stick figure appeared on the table. Another stick figure appeared to sit on her shoulder. And another one was standing beside her on the ground. So she had 3 child-sized stick figures sitting around her while she's reading the story. So that, for me, when you have video evidence and you get a Class A EVP at the same time, that's just like the trifecta right there.
Right.
You're golden.
And you've seen this as well, Mark. You've seen this video.
Yeah. It's on our Facebook page.
Tell me more about this Grace's table. I've never been to the Whitney for whatever reason. I've never been down there. But is it still there? Like anyone can go in this carriage house and sit at Grace's table?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the public can't walk up to the
right.
Whitney and get in the carriage house because there's a lot of renovation that has to be done. The ceiling's probably falling down.
Oh, okay.
But the table was set up for the oldest daughter of David Whitney. He was the lumber baron that built the house, and she used to go up there when she came back from overseas, and she would have tea as she stood out and watched the horses out in the field.
Yeah. So right behind the Whitney used to be the polo grounds for horse polo.
Okay.
For the Detroit Athletic Club or
something like that.
Yeah, equestrian club or something.
Yeah, some equestrian club, but they used to play horse polo. So Grace loved to sit up there, have tea, and watch horse polo.
And when did she pass away?
Oh, geez. I know.
Great question.
Pre-pandemic?
Yeah. I know.
Was it in the 20s?
Is it that long ago? Yeah.
Yeah. I know that Mrs. Whitney died in 1917, and the family effectively let go of the property in 1923.
Gotcha.
Okay, so she's probably much older. I don't have the
yeah.
The death
We'll have to look that up and see if we can figure that out. So you guys have also been down to Fort Wayne a bunch of times. I've heard about this place as well. So Mark, tell me a little bit about Fort Wayne.
Well, Fort Wayne, Ed, actually, he's a coalition member of Fort Wayne to this day. He's got a lot of great information as far as the history and whatnot.
And tell people exactly where that is, because I've lived here for a long time, and I'm not really even sure where it is.
It's on Livernois and Jefferson Avenue, and it's the only Civil War era fort in the city of Detroit.
All right, I got to get down there and check that out.
And it was built in response to the public fear from the War of 1812 when the British came over and took over Detroit.
Right.
And so this was built in response to that, but never had cannons installed. And during the Civil War, it was used as a camp of instruction for soldiers during the Civil War.
Okay. All right. So it would have been about 30 years later then.
Yeah.
Or thereabouts.
So it was just sitting vacant with one caretaker, and it was used as an underground railroad during pre-Civil War. There was, because it was the shortest distance between the United States and Canada right there. So slaves used to row across the river there to escape to Canada.
I get it. So what kind of stuff have you witnessed there?
Oh, a lot of Class A EVPs. I've had women have their hair pulled. And I'll turn over to Mark for when we had the piece of equipment thrown. So, Mark.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear about that. Yeah.
It was, well, Ed, they used to have tours after dark, and they did it during the fall season, and they'd have large groups. So each group had about 10 to 15 people. Ed was a leader of a group. He had other members of the coalition members that actually led these groups around the field or the area. I was stationed in what they call it the headquarters, but it looks like a schoolhouse, 2 floors with lockers and everything. So I was in there. As each group came in, I would put on like a demonstration with the equipment. Or they can go off and do their own thing up on the second floor and do their own paranormal investigation. So it lasted maybe 20 minutes for each group. So when 20 minutes is over, the group left, another group would come in. As Ed's group came in, I was in the back room doing my thing, and Ed goes, "Hey, I got to go. I'll meet you back at the gymnasium." And so Ed's yelling out, "Hey, my group, we're leaving. We got to go." I said, "Okay." I followed Ed and his group out the door. As Ed and them left, I turned the lights back off because I like to have it dark. And because of our equipment, I need the light's sensitive. I wanted it to be dark so we could pick up anything that shows darker.
Right.
So as Ed's group left, I switched the light off. I go down the hall into a room, and at that same time, because we've had experiences in there before, creep me out. I'm walking down the hall, and before I enter the classroom to the left, I say, well, let me go back up real quick. We had a piece of equipment, the X-Cam, like Ed was talking about.
Yeah.
It's a tablet connected to a piece of equipment on a handle. So if you lay it down on the table, you know, it can't roll off. So I had laid this X-Cam on the table, I think it was like a 9-foot table. I laid it there, and as Ed's team left, I left it there. As I went down the hall, I say, I'll be totally honest, this place is creeping me out.
You said it out loud?
Out loud to myself.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in there. I enter the classroom to my left, and what I hear and what we actually now, I don't want to say no because we didn't catch it on video, but what I'm hearing now is my X-Cam tumbling off this table and slamming to the ground. I step out, and I'm wearing a body cam, so I got all this footage, and it's on our Facebook if people want to go see it. I see my X-Cam now face down on the ground at the end of the table, and I said to myself, holy.
Yeah, right.
And first thing I'm thinking, you know, our $1,200 piece of equipment is now shattered because that's how hard it hit. Mm-hmm. I get there, and the next group is walking in. The next group is walking in the door, led by, I can't remember, it was a female tour member. I reached down. I said, holy sh. I look at it, and it's not broke. It's not shattered. I can't believe, but the sound sounded like it shattered. Mm. And as they walked in, I said, something just threw my X-Cam off the table. But when we listened back to the audio, or even on video, you could hear this thing just boom, 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 slamming. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Because this device, you cannot roll this off the table. We went to recreate it, and I'm hitting the table, trying to move it. Nothing's happening. I actually stuck a pillow on the floor and put the camera on the edge of the table to see maybe I got it too close. But after reviewing our video, this X-Cam is in the middle of the table.
It is by far and away the most creepiest building in all of historic Fort Wayne. In fact,
that particular building is the schoolhouse, you said?
It's the headquarters building, and it was converted to a Head Start schoolhouse during the 1970s or 80s, somewhere around that time period. And it's by far and away the creepiest building at the fort. I was actually had another episode with SLX Cam in that classroom that he was going to, because usually you catch an entity with SLX Cam and it shows up like a stick figure. Mm-hmm. Well, I was chasing something around the room that looked like a soda can. It was a black mass shaped like a soda can.
This was something you could see with your eyes?
No, I couldn't see with my eyes, so I turned on the flashlight and to see if I could see it, see if it was a rat or something. Yeah. And I can't see it with my bare eyes, but I'm seeing it with the SLX X-Cam, this black mass that looks like a soda can. So I start chasing it around the room in this classroom, and I finally corner it. And then it morphs into a stick figure without a head, which is the first time I've seen a stick figure without a head. And it just kind of creeped me up. I backed up a couple steps, and it disappeared. Now, it's the very same classroom where the ghost hunters actually came to Fort Wayne one time. So we had Steve Gonzalez and Dave Tango in that very same classroom. They had a group of people that paid $250 a head to hunt with the famous ghost hunters. And they had a black shadow mass rise out of the center of the floor. And two of the ladies just ran off. They went to their car, $500, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, maybe they got their money's worth.
Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you're there to pay for an experience,
right.
And they got it.
Yeah.
And I had a good episode with Larry Murphy there at the headquarters.
Yeah, I want to hear about this, yeah.
Yeah, so Larry Murphy, he's really not into the paranormal, but his wife, Jamie, she loves it.
Now, we're not speaking out of school, are we, Murph? Well, I don't want to get in trouble with Murph, so are we good?
Probably not.
Okay.
Because if I text Jamie, his wife, right now, she'd say, "Oh yeah, go for it."
Okay, all right. Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, so we're doing a preseason evidence gathering, and we invite Larry Murphy and Jamie because they're famous and they're kind of cool, and we're like, yeah, we're gathering evidence before we start doing our tours in the fall. So they came with us, and Larry's not really into it, and I started showing them some of the equipment and the do's and don'ts with some of the equipment and how you can get false positives and stuff. And so we have this REM pod, and I'm showing how to set the REM pod off. And he's like, okay, cool, I understand that. So I have the chair set in the middle of the hallway, no one's near it, and then we start asking questions. And the REM pod starts responding to our questions. It was going once for yes, two for no. And Larry's starting to kind of get this look on his face. Jamie's like, this is so cool.
Yeah, is this really happening?
Yeah. And it was just really kind of after the night, where you had a non-believer, and he's like, there might be something to this. So,
yeah, he hasn't been that terrified since he saw Datsuit coming down on him, I suppose, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he might be a little bit older for that, but no, that's great. So, yeah, Fort Wayne is definitely a place I've got to go there. How many times do you guys think you've investigated that place?
Oh, I don't know. We were always, anytime Ed had a function going on there, we were allowed to go into a particular building and do something.
Yeah, so, we ran 8 tours a year for a period of about 8 years. So we bring in the public, and we would normally have about 50 to 60 people. We'd break them up into even groups. So usually we had 6 tour guides, and we had a set rotation going throughout all the different buildings at the fort. And it was a shame that we had to stop this last year. It was due to some a request from Native Americans because there's a Native American burial ground at the fort, a mound, and there's still a body in there. And so at their request, the city said no more paranormal tours, no more after dark tours. It's offending them, and we're like, we're having a great time. It's our best money raiser, and politics gets involved, and we're not doing them anymore.
Yeah. So, if you guys, I know that you said you're going to go to Houghton Lake. We'll get into that here in a second. Any other places throughout Michigan that really stick out in your brain?
Eloise.
Eloise, yeah.
I think there's a lot of paranormal teams that have done Eloise. It's. I think the night we were there, everything is quiet. And then it becomes not quiet. So, and I don't remember the time of night it was. But
and when was this?
A year and a half ago.
Okay.
We were on the 5th floor, Ed, myself, and one of the other investigators cuddling. And we're talking out, not talking out loud, we're trying to talk to the spirits or to see if the undead is alive. So to my right, there's a door. And what we hear is slam coming from within that room, and we look over and go, what the hell is that? So we go over to that door, we open it, and it's a bathroom, and these bathroom stall doors are open, but what we hear after replaying it, it sounded like a bathroom stall door had shut on its own, a slam. And it's interesting because we got that same slam, the same sound at the Whitney in Detroit. There was a story on the 3rd floor of a woman that was seen in the 3rd floor restroom, and we also caught that same slam of a bathroom door closing in on itself. So that's how we were able to that's a door, that's a bathroom stall door actually shutting.
A lot of these places, believe it or not, a lot of the activity in the bathrooms.
Is that right?
Yeah. In the bathrooms. Yeah.
Wow. So you're going to be heading up to Houghton Lake, the one down here in the lower part. And you're going to go to a place called Anchor. And now, why that place?
Anytime that we go on vacation, see, actually, we had investigated it about a year and a half ago. Also.
You investigated that particular location.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's some unfinished business that we have to do there.
Okay.
Because the last time we were there, we had gone camping. We actually rented a cabin on Houghton Lake, my wife, myself, my sister, and her husband. And as they did their night thing, I told Ray, hey, I want to go to Anchor Inn and see if we can get in and investigate, because I read and heard the stories about it. So we got in that evening to investigate it. Caught some interesting things, some personal experiences. So we're actually heading back up to Houghton for a UFO conference. But down the street is the Anchor Inn. So I called Rhonda, who runs the Anchor Inn. I said, hey, we're going to be in town. Can we investigate it again? And she says, yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go back. Ed's never investigated, but I have.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about some places around here? Like I was talking with some of my friends about the New Hudson Inn.
The New Hudson Inn. Where is that?
That's a New Hudson.
A New Hudson.
But it's the oldest bar in Michigan. I think it's from like the 1840s.
Yeah, no, I've not familiar with it.
Okay.
There's so many different locations in Michigan that I would love to hit, but obviously you got to have time,
Right.
got to have money, But anytime, if we can get somewhere in Michigan to investigate, my wife is telling me, okay, what are you doing now? Because if we're planning a trip into the UP, I have to find out if there's a place to investigate up there. So, yeah.
I think I might head to the UP. Actually, I might go to the Bonehead's Grill tonight. So Bonehead's Barbecue in Willis.
Yeah, we've been
Love
there.
that place.
Well, if you go to some place, just remember, it doesn't have to be dark to get good evidence. We've gotten some of our best EVPs at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Really? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the first time I ever was sworn at by something was in the middle of an open field at historic Fort Wayne where the hospital once stood. And I had been asking questions about the Spanish influenza. And I got a very shocking reply. And I'm like, and I thought I was asking respectfully.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, see, I don't walk around with the EVP, so I wouldn't know if they were talking to me or not. So I'll keep my ears open.
Most phones can digitally record.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, Mark, you just came back from Alaska. Did both you guys go, or just you?
Myself, along with the other co-founder, Mark Waynick, his girlfriend, my wife, my sister, husband. Okay. So there was 16 of us actually went.
Now, this show is basically primarily Michigan, but what'd you go up there for?
We actually did a cruise.
Okay.
So we went to Seattle, cruise ship all the way to Alaska, but at the same time, I'm researching areas I want to investigate.
Right.
So my wife, she totally understands. So Mark Waynick, the other co-founder, and myself, I said, Mark, I got a place in Juneau, and it's a Alaskan hotel and bar. Researched it, demonic activity in the basement. People have died in the room, mass suicide, whatever. So we went when we got to Juneau, I said, okay, honey, we're leaving. So we actually left and went to the Alaskan Hotel, and we got in to do a little mini investigation.
I was going to say, because wait a second, I've been on cruises before, and usually they dock, report, or whatever for like 5 hours or something. Yeah. So is that what you had, or
yeah? In Juneau, we had about. I think we had about 7 hours.
Okay, 7 hours. So you had time. So did you set this up ahead of time?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I'm anytime we're going to be doing something, I'm always, I'm calling the Alaskan Hotel from Dearborn. Say, hey, I'm coming out on a cruise. This is what I would like to do.
And how do you get your equipment on the plane and then on the cruise ship?
We don't bring everything.
Okay.
I know I have, like, when we've gone out to the Queen Mary in California, I brought some stuff, not everything, because it's just way too much material.
Right, but you're still bringing electronics and stuff, and TSA and whatnot, and of course, going on the cruise, they don't want you bringing. Then you say, well, I'm going to be investigating ghosts. They probably look at you crazy, right?
For the most part, yeah, they do. For the most part, all you need are your senses, a digital recorder, and a flashlight.
Okay.
90% of our evidence that we've captured is on audio. It's really hard to capture stuff on video.
And so how did it go in Alaska?
The interview, the mini investigation all went well. I'm actually still going through material to see if we caught anything. And this was, we were there about a month ago. It takes time because you have to listen and you got to watch a lot of video. And for the most part, it's time consuming. I haven't gone through everything, but I did post material from the bar. Didn't catch anything. The hotel part of the investigation, I'm still reviewing that material.
Well, that sounds like a great trip, if for nothing else.
Yeah, it was. It was fantastic.
That's one of my things I want to do one day is do that Alaskan cruise. So, the Haunt Investigators of Michigan, Marc Ortiz and Ed Ketchadorian. Anything else you guys want to add? Is there anything that people should check out down here in Michigan? Check out your pages, of course.
Facebook, Haunt Investigators of Michigan. We do have some stuff on Instagram, Haunt Investigators of Michigan. YouTube, you can just search Haunt Investigators of Michigan. There's a lot of video. With all the social media pages, it's hard to try to keep up with everything.
Right.
So 100%, 99% is all on Facebook. So.
Gotcha. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking your day to come down here to the station. I appreciate that. Great to meet you guys.
It's been great. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thanks for the stories. Awesome stories. I still have to get down to Fort Wayne and the Whitney. I got to get to both those places. But
if you ever want to get to the Whitney and you want to do a little tour investigation of the carriage house, let us know.
All right,
we can get you in.
I appreciate that. I want to see. I want to see her table. What's her name again? Grace. Yeah, I want to see Grace's table.
Grace Whitney's table. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. Haunted Michigan. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. There's more to come. Of course, check back often. Got the podcast, got the video, and all that stuff at WRIF.com. Until next time.